Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans. The without a shadow of doubt that the so-called African American on his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous. And how's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody?
Hey,
What's going on, Lisa?
Lee. Hello, Halito, Kayuk, Carrie. Good to see you. Thank you for having me once again. I appreciate it very much.
No,
Yes,
thank
I'm
you.
well. Are you doing well?
First of all, thank you for being with us.
It is my pleasure.
We love to hear from our sisters and the ones who are out there doing things that we can all learn from because we know we're at a pivotal time in human history and it don't go down unless we say so.
Mm-hmm.
Or the information that you share and always share and that you're going to share tonight, which I think the audience is going to like.
Right.
So, the topic tonight is on a cat I'm sure many of you guys have heard of. If you haven't, he's one of the brothers that you should have heard of long time ago. Long time ago, because this brother's been putting out work. Of course, he's gone now. He was born in the 1800s, but he's a cat who had a significant impact on how we are today. And a lot of time he goes ignored. His work goes ignored. And I want to share a little bit about this brother tonight, just a little bit. And Lisa's gonna share a story that she had the uh, she was in this weekend. It's real cool. You guys gonna trip off of this, of what a lot of our elders think and how they think and how they've been trained and how that's been passed down to us. And you're gonna see that a lot with what Carter G. Woodson was talking about. Especially what's going on in the world today. Our thinking have to be tight. Being a dumbass, that shit ain't gonna work. And we think we can be dumb and keep going on how we going. And you see how that's going on now. And after the Steve Harvey thing, we're going to get into some things that's happening in the so-called African American community that makes you guys think how you think and who the people that are used to make you think how you think. And when you look at what these cats do, you're going to say, damn, am I really that goddamn dumb? And you're going to see, yeah, you are. And this is all we're seeing. See, we're going back looking at our genealogy and finding out our people weren't no dumbasses. But you also have to remember they didn't put out your history. Somebody else did. So we're going to get into this right now. First of all, I want to say welcome to all the people who are in the chat. Copper Color Lifestyle, as always, comes in through. Lisa, oh, you like seeing her name?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I
she
love
told.
seeing all the names, but definitely
Yeah, she's.
Copper Color Lifestyle brings the light and the love. So that's cool.
Oh, Bertha Washington is cool in the game.
Very
So
cool.
I just want to say thank you guys. Ancient One, thank you, brother, for coming.
Harry Baker.
Gary Baker, thank you guys for being here.
Yep.
Uh
Thank
Carter
you for
G,
Acamex too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carter G. Wilson's up from where you from, huh?
He's a Virginia Indian. Yes, he is.
So, before we get into Carter G. Wilson, I just want to share three quotes with you, what this cat says. And if you guys can remember these or share them, you can just find them up on the internet. A lot of his work is on the internet. But I just want to share three quotes that he said that is very significant to what we like to talk about here at African Americans Ain't Africans and what we see every day going on throughout our communities. Here's the first one. If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. Sorry. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to go to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one. So, this is what I'm always trying to get across. We got to start thinking, y'all, because we like to call ourselves black. We call ourselves words and terms that means you're shit. And we still do it. We teach our kids to do it. And this book was written damn near 100 years ago in 1933, Miseducation of the Negro. And do you know from 1933 till now, was that 80, 78, 80 years? That book hasn't sold 1 million copies yet. You understand what I'm saying? See, we like to always complain about what's happening to us, but you had people writing about this shit 100 years ago, and we don't like to read, and then try to act like we do, like we know something. And most people who you put on the pedestals are idiots, which you will see a little later on. Here's another quote. History shows that it does not matter who is in power or what revolutionary forces take over the government. Those who have not learned to do for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privilege in the end than they had in the beginning. Again, that's from this education of the Negro. See all these cats telling you they gonna win for you and join my group or my church. You always gonna be a whole slave, just like they are now. Don't be mad. See what these cats do. See whose side they're really on, because they damn sure ain't on yours. This is my favorite Carter G. Woodson quote. And this cat just gave it straight, no chaser. Check this out. Philosophers have long conceded, however, that every man has two educators, that which is given to him and the other that which he gives himself. Of the two kinds, the latter is by far the most desirable. Indeed, all that is most worthy in man, he must work out and conquer for himself. It is that which constitutes our real and best nourishment. What we are merely taught seldom nourishes the mind like that which we teach ourselves. That's why I say, y'all, you got to think. You have eons of ancestors who walked this earth before you and who you have passed through and who you have been. For us to be in the condition now as a nation of people, when it comes down to it, it's going to be our fault for doing what somebody always tell us to do, not thinking for ourselves ever, just doing what we're told. So that's what I want to share on Carter G. Woodson. Now, bring Lisa in to let her explain to you her Carter G. Woodson story. Lise. Can-
Yes, I'm excited because we have so much opportunity now and we have so much information, but I'm sad because we have so many other things that are influencing our thinking that are not healthy, they're not correct, and they're really dangerous. We have so many more interlopers, right? Carter G. Woodson was interesting because he said things about, of course, he did believe in education, but he also said, I don't care how many, I'm not interested in how many people had higher education at the during the Civil War period. He said, I'm not impressed by the number of people who were educated at that time because it doesn't matter how many of us were educated It matters the information and how they're using this education to impact the people. And he really believed that, there were a lot of people that were highly educated who were actually misguiding us in a very serious way, right? So, I mean, it's really important. We have to also realize that today, I feel like it's more important than ever that we focus on the fact that there are a lot of people that are educating us and impacting our thinking in a way that we've never had before. Because, like, just looking, just perusing on YouTube, or just going on TikTok, or just looking on your FaceTime timeline, or your Instagram, or your Tik, or your whatever else, all the social media, there's so many influencers that are in our lives right now. These people have a lot of power. And it's not even a matter of who are so-called um who are who like who the who the higher, the now I won't say the higher class, but I really call them the deceitful class. The deceitful classes chooses to be our leaders because now they have so many different weapons. Like, it's just really crazy. So, I mean, for him, he really didn't want to be a influencer. He wanted to be a person that gave you the information, gave you the food, and said, "Here it is. Now you eat. Now you digest this." He wasn't trying to tell you what to think. He was trying to tell you to think, really. And he did so by doing such great research that to this day, it is just like mind-boggling, the fact that he has lists of free Negroes, heads of households. He has lists of free people, free Negro slave holders. Like, that's amazing, right? So we have to admire that he has all this for us, because he knew a lot more than what he let on to know, right? And so we need to realize that, okay, we have all this information, but it's time for us to start thinking in different ways and moving in different ways and utilizing this information. We have to do more than just think, and we also kind of need to pull each other out of this abyss, because although we have all this information, it's like, what is going on? Our major influences are the worst that we've ever had. I feel like in the history of people, we have the worst influencers at this time than ever before. So I kind of will urge you to just, like, we need to do better as far as a people. Um, you know, uh, just filtering through this mess. Now, I had a really good experience this week because Free Hawk and his wonderful, wonderful woman, Sunshine, um, Dina was invited me to speak. It's for the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, and it's a Carter G. Woodson Association. Which I was a little bit upset because I thought, well, why are we changing people's names? Like, why are everything he taught us was about the Negro, right? About the Negro. It wasn't about the African. It wasn't about African studies. It was about the Negro, the miseducation of the Negro, the Negroes, slaveholders, the Negroes. That is a name that is in our history. That's a name that is in our laws, our legislation. It is very important that we actually recognize that we are the Negro. Okay. So the fact that we are calling ourselves anything else is a problem, right? It's a problem. We are who we are, and we need to not disrespect our ancestors and go by names other than what they called themselves, because we're being erased. We were erased as Indians and called Negroes, and now we were erased as Negroes being called blacks, and now we're being erased again as being called African Americans, and they're bringing in all these new African Americans to take our place, just the way they brought in the Asians to take our place as the American Indian. So we need to really be mindful of this, and we need to really respect the fact that we can't let this happen again. We got to do better, y'all. We have to improve how we're doing this. We have to do things differently. We can't learn these things and not change how we do stuff. You know what I mean? So with this being the case, um I was at this, Zoom, and it was interesting because it was a bunch of, a lot of the women were older, and I found that fascinating. But as I spoke about it, it was important that to Freehawk and Sunshine that I actually bring in the indigenous information. And I was a little struggling over how I was going to mix it in, but I managed to actually intertwine it because Carter G. Woodson knew that our history was more extensive than what we were being taught. He was concerned with the information that we were being given and how it did not match the truth. And he knew, I mean, I don't know if he had the time to actually figure everything out, but he actually knew the greatness, and he knew that we had contributed so much more, and that we were doing a lot better than any slave class that we were told that we are. So at this being the case, I said, I kind of was able to talk about the fact that, look, um, these lists in themselves, the facts that we were heads of households, the fact that we did own slaves, uh, these things speak to the fact that we're indigenous. And and I also, kind of pushed on the fact that, hey, look, we've got Somalians, we've got all kinds of people from all over the continent, all different countries all over the continent of Africa, now in this country, taking our place angrily and really kind of hating on us openly. And we're okay about it. But what's going to happen 20 years from now, 30 years from now, with these Africans that they have two generations of African Americans now, and by that time they'll be acting like they've been always here. And what's going to happen to your progeny when these people who feel superior to your progeny are going to act like they always been here because they've been here 30 years? They got several generations of people. They're into their fourth generation, their third generation, their second generation. What's going to happen then? See, I mean, we're all comfortable now, but these comfortable people are dying off. What are we leaving behind? What are we leaving for the next hundreds of years, the next centuries? Because our ancestors looked out for us for centuries. That's why we have these land grants. That's why we have these patents. That's why we have this information on record, because they were looking out for us for centuries, centuries ahead. So what are we going to do? So, I mean, I also mentioned the fact that, organizing yourself as the indigenous people that we are gives you, when you really do it, you get rights that to defend yourself in ways that you can't as a Negro. You can't as a Negro, or a black, or definitely not as an African American. And I explained to them about the case that I had with the Accomack member who had a cocaine charge, and I was able to, as a leader of her Accomack people, remove, get that, all charges removed. So she's not a felon. She didn't have to pay restitution, and she didn't have to go to jail, because as an indigenous leader, as an indigenous people, we can self protect. We can take care of our people. We can protect our young men from being jailed up. We can keep them out of this daggone penal system, this slave system. We can do this. We can take care of each other. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Freehawk. Yes. Sunshine. And I was really great. It was a really very nice meeting, and I was honored to have been there. And yes, um, that organization, the people, the women there, the comments were interesting because they was like, I've never heard this information. It's a lot to digest. I've never had heard this, but now I have something that I definitely will be researching and thinking about, you know. And that is major. And when I talked to Kerry, he was like, they don't know. How do they don't know? And I said, what do people do? People go to jobs, they talk to the same doggone people. If they go to church, they talk to the same doggone people. If they have a family, they definitely are dealing with the same people. So pretty much, people just kind of live in a bubble. Most people are living in a bubble, and they're only really dealing with the things and the people that they have been dealing with for a really pretty long time. So I mean, you have to understand that, that's the way it is with for most Americans, And so with that being the case, no, they haven't heard. And my concern is, yeah, these are older women, but golly, we need to make sure that these young people that are in school, these children and these college students are actually on the right track, because we have a lot of things that are impacting them that are not good. By calling ourselves our historians, minds, we have to our own replacement by. Yes. Yeah, exactly. We are reaching back into the past, and we're calling our past what it was not. But you have to fight that. You have to fight that when you see it, where you see it, on the ground where you see it. Because that happened that's happening on the Eastern Shore. They're trying to rebuild a school that is a one of those first colored schools that were built by one of the Sears and Roebuck Jewish people. And I'm like, we didn't even build the school, so why are we celebrating? Why are we putting money in to try to rebuild the school? And then to add insult to injury, they're calling it an African American school. So I contacted the organizer of it, which is a young woman who's probably in like her mid 30s or whatever. And I was like, excuse me, but why are you calling it what it is not? It was never, those people were never called African American. It was not built as an African American school. It was never called that. Why are you misnaming something that's supposed to be a historical preservation project? Oh, well, the people that went there, I'm respecting what their wishes, and they felt that it should be African American. Well, they're wrong. It's not what they want, it's what it is. History is not like what I feel. History is history. It's the truth. So the fact that you're trying to remix history and you're lying and you're trying to put it on those people that attended there, that's wrong. And if you think this conversation with me is over, that this is the it, it's not. Because I'm going to be on your ass about this always. I'm not going to let this lie. Because you can't sit up there and lie about our history and think nobody's going to come for you on that. I'm going to come for you on that. You're not going to go building or rebuilding any school in Northampton County that and call it North African American in my face when these people, first of all, ain't even African American. They're not African nothing. So let's stop lying about this. But that's the thing. We have to start dealing with some of these people that are doing it. Um, yeah, you got an African professor that stated that an African American. Exactly. Now, how ludicrous is that? You know, they were up here, all up through the middle of the country, all the way into Chicago, discovering things. They haven't even half of these people haven't even been to Chicago. This in here now. They just came here from wherever else they came from in their continent. No, it's so ludicrous that we're using these words that we never knew. And what are we doing? We are assassinating ourselves. We're exterminating ourselves. And the fact that you are just okay with that is just I just can't even. We cannot be okay with self-extermination. We cannot be okay with, the fact that we are, you know, allowing ourselves to erase us from the picture. Don't we understand that? I mean, if you're not thinking about what is happening to you, you got nobody to blame but yourself. You got to start thinking about the things that you're allowing people to do. You are giving full consent to these things. You are active a participant in your own annihilation, an active participant in your own annihilation. You can't let that happen. And it's in other ways, because I hate to call out names and I won't. But there's a video of some guy who's really he's really evidently big on YouTube. He has like one video I think he put out 4 hours ago, already has like 60,000 people, 6,000, not 60,000, 6,000 people watched it, right? And he's evidently popular. I think part of it might be his religious. He's coming from a religious sect, so a lot of people are watching him because he belongs to a certain religion. But it's concerning because he's harshly misogynistic. He's extremely destructive to the male psyche and to women. Anybody who watches him, I'm so afraid for the future, because he has a video out right now about this guy who shot. He did the video. I don't know if y'all seen this video where this guy went live and he talked about the fact that he can't believe it. I just shot my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, in the head. And she was carrying his baby and she was threatening that she was gonna not let him see it. And he shot her in the head. And then he said he just sit up there real calm and cool. I don't even know if this shit's real or not, but he shot her in the head, and then he's all cool and calm, collected outside talking like, I can't believe I did it, but I'm going to go ahead and get to my ex-wife now because she's been saying I'm a child molester, that I'm molesting my children and stuff, and I can't take it. And then she's really the beginning of my depression. She's the one who made me like this. I'm all alone. It's holiday time, blah, blah, blah. And he's standing right outside her building. Oh, there's my ex-wife now. Well, there's my ex right there. And then he proceeds to shoot her, I guess, and kill himself. Then this brother comes on the daggone video that it's his channel, and he's like, "You see what you women are doing? Wait a minute, y'all. I can't. It makes my head hurt. You see what you women are doing? You triggering. You triggering. You're saying these things, and you don't know what's gonna become of these things you're saying." And I'm like, Negro, really? There are two. There are kids that have no parents. There's a baby that's been killed and two women. And you are blaming the dad for his craziness, his premeditated, cool, calm, collected murder based upon his feelings? His feelings. Like he can't man up his feelings. He can't get his shit together. He is creating an army of men who are blaming victims. Men who ain't worth shit. He's the most dangerous thing I have ever seen to date. That there are that many people watching his channel, it frightens me to death. He is a weaponized Negro. And that's the same way they did us back in the day. They sent these Europeans, these dark Europeans, to come into our daggone communities, infiltrate us, and destroy us from within. And this Negro is that. Because he is talking crazy. Like, how in the world is it okay to you? Oh, you're the victim is at fault. The victim is at fault. The dead person is blamed for this Negro who calmly and collectively murders a woman, goes to the next woman back to his ex-wife and murders her as well. He cares so much about his kids though. See, and then he's like, you don't do that to a man. You don't take a man from his kids. He don't give a flying fuck about his kids. Because any man who's gonna kill, he'll take both of the parents away from children. It don't give a care. He's a selfish animal. is what he is. A selfish animal. What kind of world are we living in where these are the people that we follow? These are the people that we are giving all our ears and our minds and letting our thinking be controlled by. How is that okay? That's what we're doing. And and it's so many of them that are listening to it. I'm like, he got 5,000 people, almost 6,000 people to watch his video in 4 hours.
The jab is working.
Is it the jab? No, these people were already toasted. How are you thinking like that? How are you letting this guy got a daggone bandana wrapped around his head talking crazy? You can look at him and see he's evil and he has a negative energy. And y'all ain't picking up none of that because he's well coiffed and he's an attractive guy. But he fucking got a daggone scarf tied around his head and a daggone braid on his damn chin. And y'all listen up there, listen to what he's saying about man need to not listen to a women and all the men. Come on. That is nothing about us being the people that we are. And not only that, it's not respecting nature to be that way. That's against nature. And the fact that you're gonna lead men to be that misogynistic and women, the women that listen to somebody like that, I don't even understand. You are lost. You are lost as hell. Because seriously, honey, this man is a misogynist. He wants to destroy you. He's actually applauding the brother who killed two women in cold blood. And blaming the dead women. Oh yeah, shouldn't have been talking to him like that. That'll serve you right. And now for all you other heifers out there, you better learn. And the women are eating it up.
See, what I don't get about that is, and people always dog me out for this. These cats right here are doing this to their own mamas, sisters, cousins, nieces, daughters, but they don't do that to nobody else.
Right.
Everybody else dog their ass out, and they don't do that. They don't go to a Mexican neighborhood and kill one of them.
Right.
They don't. That's what I mean. No thinking at all. And
Right.
those the cats, like you say, this brother got 6,000 viewers.
In 4 hours. In 4 hours. That's how many people watch this video in 4 hours. He got a video he did last month. 90,000 people watched it. 90,000. So how many people is he destroying? And how many people are already destroyed? Because why are you watching this guy? I watch him and and he hadn't even done what he did now. Just a few minutes of watching him before, and I was like cringing, right? I was like, his energy's just, he wasn't really talking about anything that was really bad, but just the way he kind of puts men with to treat women and to talk to people and the way he has this whole energy of domination is very concerning. But then when he turned around and act like it was the victims were to blame for this brother unleashing a gun into their bodies and killing them and making all his children orphans or dead. He killed one of his kids. The fact that he was applauding this brother and trying to use it as a point of education, like, look, women, look what's gonna happen to you. This is what you get. This is what you get when you hurt a brother's feelings. Don't you be messing with no grown man's feelings because you don't know what's gonna happen to you, and you're gonna deserve it. You're gonna deserve what you get. And
You're
that's
kidding.
the message that we want to listen to. Because if we got that many people viewing, if that's real, then evidently we like listening to that crap. And if we like listen to that crap, I'm real sad for the future. I'm real sad because that should not be. There should not be young men, old men, any men listen to a man like that. There should be not be any women that would listen to a man like that. He should have no views, none.
Neely Fuller just put out, the black person in charge has no power. With all these cats, because you know what's getting me. So we just talked about this cat we just talked about this cat Carter G. Woodson and
Right,
stuff he was saying 100 years ago.
right.
And now, I mean, none of that stuff is being.
Stockholm said, yeah.
We're not talking about none of that stuff. I mean, every day I hear about one of us shooting another one of us. So what does that mean? I mean, does that mean that we're like digging up our own graves and putting our foot in and putting ourselves in it? Because that's what it seems like to me. It's like we
Yeah,
don't want to be here.
yeah. I'm not sure why we are so. Um, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Because one thing we can't really even believe some of the numbers. We can't believe, anything. Does he have that many viewers? I hope not. If he does, then I'm concerned about our future severely. I'm seriously concerned. I hope he doesn't. But if he does, then it just means we are lost. And we got to start reaching, we got to actively start reaching. And the fact that, that also told me that, you know what? That was really smart of Sunshine and Free Hawk because, people just don't know. They just don't know, and they're stuck in whatever kind of bubble that they're in. And if their bubble happens to be intertwined with this religious sect that it actually thinks it's okay, this misogynistic kind of European mindset that they're pushing is all right and it's okay and it's good, and these women need to be submitting to these lunatics. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't i don't understand it, but I could tell you every 5.5 hours, homicide. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's horrible. But I can, but they're weaponizing this. See, that's the thing we don't get is that this is I don't believe that. AP Trade says I don't believe that. But let me tell you something. If this is true, you got to understand that they're weaponizing these people and they're weaponizing us. That this is a setup. The fact that they're promoting this guy, that this guy's out here on YouTube doing this kind of stuff. I mean, they'll take me down for saying something about politics, but he's out here trying to promote that women need to be submitted to a guy who's murdering them. And it's still up. And he's got all these people viewing him. So I mean, he's used as a weapon of mass destruction. So I don't know. It may not be 5.5. I mean, it may not be that they're killing us every 5 hours. I mean, a lot of the times they'll promote that information because they want that to happen. Like, COVID's killing the Negro. Yeah, black men are killing women every 5.5 hours. They put that kind of information out because it's spell casted. They want us to do it. So I don't know if it's real or not. And I agree, I'm not sure. But I can tell you that if people are watching him anywhere near the numbers that's indicated by YouTube, then it's a problem.
It's not that it's put out by YouTube. It's what's happening. And this is what we gotta be. We gotta be on top of this. We we fucked up.
Yeah.
We fucked up. And we like to come in with no, how you know they ain't talking about that. It is.
Yeah.
We got brothers out here doing dumb shit. And we're
Yeah.
gonna show you in a minute.
Right.
We're gonna show you in a minute. And I know some of you gonna say that was a long time ago. That ain't being done. Dude, we're not doing the right thing at
We're
all.
not. We're not. And it's sad. I mean, we have too much information There's we should know so much better now, and for us to be doing the things we're doing and thinking the ways we're thinking, it's sad that people can be so lost today. It's sad. We're really, really lost. But let me tell you, there is hope. But like I said, it takes a couple of people. It takes, a Sunshine and a Free Hawk to get out there and say, you know what? I want to help people learn to think differently. I want to give them information so that they will, be informed. Because these people are listening to talk radio. They're getting infiltrated by a lot of stuff. Now, Carter G. Woodson said, you control a man's thinking. That's right. You don't, when you control someone's thinking, you don't have to worry about their act. That's right. And they're controlling our thinking all the time. Can we stop it? Can we realize it? Can we just like do better and actually like be like, you know what? No, no, no. You're not going to control my thinking no more. Like, you can't do that.
So, Lisa, what do you think about what App Trader is saying right in here? People are selling their souls for the bag.
Yeah, they are.
Can you explain what that means? Because I really don't know what it means. I'm not into that kind of lingo. What's the bag?
They're for money. It's for the money bag, for the
Okay.
purse, for the purse strings, for the bag of cash. Yeah, everybody's trying to get that money, and they don't care about whether they got to wear a dress or if they have to get on their knees and perform a fellatio. They don't care what they have to do to get money these days. And people are proud of it and they ain't ashamed of it. They're like, yeah, yeah, he got that. Oh, he did that. I mean, that's the mentality that we have in the world today. It's that we admire people for what they're willing to do and what they obtain by desecrating and degrading themselves. Like, that's to be respected today.
Well,
That's where we're at.
while you're on that, is this what you mean?
For 4 million, I'll be all the motherfucking monkey you can stand. Black people will be so embarrassed by my motherfucking performance. You'll be sitting up there just going, look at this big lip son of a bitch. You ain't got to act like that much of a motherfucking monkey. Be picking shit off me looking at it. Be walking around that I be digging in my ass. Motherfucker, for 10 million, kiss my ass. Motherfucker, I am a monkey.
So is it so with these people, are those the people you talking about like selling the bag? Because they influence a lot of people's thinking. Because this cat right here, he has family feud in Africa, in Ghana, in South America. I mean in South Africa. So people like this are put on the pet. Why we should have people like Carter G. Woodson screaming in our kids the other day, are not screaming, but giving information. But we're giving stuff like this and the music and stuff that's put out. Is that part of the problem?
It is part of the problem.
Or it is the
Part
problem?
He is a big problem because did he say 4 million? 4 million ain't even nothing, really. So I mean, 4 million, he gonna act like a monkey and do all kinds of shit. So think about what he's actually doing. Think about what he's really actually doing, what he's really doing for what he's getting, because that's crazy. I mean, we can't be and this man's in the minds and in the ears of people. He's in the radio and he's on the TV. He's in people's living rooms. He's in their cars. He's all over the place. He got books, so he's a big major influencer, and he's promoting the fact that we should sell our souls no matter what, no matter what. Like, get it by any means necessary. That's what he's promoting. By any means necessary. That's what's important. We don't have anybody trying to be a better people or trying to promote us thinking differently, caring differently, taking care of each other differently, taking care of the world, taking care of each other, taking care of the future, securing things for the future. That's not it. It's all about getting what you can and flossing as much as possible and showing off what you got.
Well,
Crazy.
what I'm seeing, and this is why I think genealogy and studying your family is very important, because you had people in your family who thought just like Carter G. Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all, but one
Mm-hmm.
person, they probably were called the black sheep of the family. They thought just like Carter G. Woodson. You can't follow these people and what they're doing because these people don't have the same experience and history that you do.
Right.
And we
Right.
keep thinking that these people know what they're talking about. They
Right.
don't.
They don't. They don't.
Come on, y'all.
And yep, that's right. And Carter G. Woodson. Okay, so he knew that there were people even during his time who were misdirecting the masses, who weren't trying to get people to, do the right thing. We're trying to get them to lower themselves, to compromise themselves, to minimize themselves. He knew that. He saw what was going on, and even today we're just acting like we don't see it. We got people trying to show us who we should be marrying, commercials where everything's interracial and everything's ACDC with the sexuality, and making our children watch sex on television. Remember I told you I was watching Bewitched the other day, and I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was so funny, right? And
Tell the people about Bewitched, because a lot of people, the age range in here is so vast. Could,
right.
could you explain? Could you
So
explain that?
Bewitched is a story that I guess that was out in the 60s, I think. She was a witch that she married a mortal, a human being. He was very kind. He was actually gay, and he was, even his character seemed a feminine, right? But she married him, and then he had problems with her being a witch and having these being able to do this magic and stuff. And it was interesting because then she introduced him to her uncle, and her uncle was flamboyantly gay, and they were having a whole interaction, a whole episode where he met the uncle, and uncle was trying to tell him, look, you can do magic to kind of control your mother-in-law because she's a horrible person. She's always trying to mess with you and all that. Let's see if we can play a trick back on at her, and I'm gonna teach you to do a magic spell, cast a spell. And it was funny. And anyway, but I was like, if this was done today, they'd have these guys kissing all in the mouth. You know, it would be a whole nother story. I'm like, why are we making, and even on Bewitched, the couple that's married, you didn't see them in the bed. You didn't see them kissing and licking all up on each other. You didn't even see them. So now it's like what they want to do is they want to create a world where we don't have innocence for children, because the innocence that we had at that time was not for us. It was for the kids. It was protection for the kids. It had nothing to do with, oh, we don't want, grown people to know that people have sex. No, of course we know people have sex. We have sex, you know, but what it was we're going to create an environment that's kid safe, family friendly, so the kids don't have to be exposed to all this information that they don't need. They can have an age of innocence. They can have some innocence. They can just think about cool shit. They don't got to think about all this other heavy stuff. But no, right now they want these kids exposed. They want them thinking about it. They want to prime these kids for it. They got gender mixed bathrooms with urinals all in the bathrooms. And oh, okay. I mean, it's like since Obama, he took us way just down the rabbit. I don't even want to call it a rabbit hole. I think he took us down the sewer line. He just took us down to the sewer line like with a quickness. And then we got this daggone other. They're all just. It's just going straight downhill fast. What? Those mixed gender bathrooms are gross. I've been to some. They're gross. It's just crazy. It's unnecessary. They see they doing extreme things because they want to have extreme results. Just like the whole I'm gonna not take down the statue and melt it down into something else. Why you gotta be all dramatic? Why you gotta take down the statue? I want the evidence that you're an asshole. I don't want you taking down your dumb statues. I want the proof that you're those kind of assholes. Please don't erase your fucked up history. Cause I want the proof.
So, Lisa, would you say
Yeah, he might have been Accomack. You're right, Freehawk. He's from Virginia. He looks like a Virginia Indian.
so? When you talk about all this men getting into women's sports, um, the things you just talked about, where they're trying to cross the sections up, and we're getting into this knowing damn well that's not the thing to do, because you can't you can't you can't be a part of your own history. See, and with this LBGT thing going on, don't we realize that we are our ancestors? That
We
we just
are.
we just keep coming back, and when you play with that shit, you make it possible for you not to return. This is simple shit we should know,
Right. Right.
and we don't
And
and we don't
go ahead.
even we don't even think about it. I'm sorry, Lisa. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah, no, you're right. It's absolutely true. You're right. We don't think about that we are our ancestors, but these people are their ancestors, and they've been trying all kinds of. They've been doing stuff to us for centuries and centuries, thousands of years. So that now they're just pulling out everything they can think of to entrap us, to end us, to destroy us, to take everything that we have. That's what they're gonna do. So at this time, it's really important that we do everything we can to bring as many people along that we can, to save as many people as we can, because this is a it's crazy out here. Look at this guy, Steve Harvey. You played that. That's disgusting. What he was talking. How embarrassing. He's gonna be a whole monkey for $4 million.
Oh, well, he's not a monkey no more. He's a judge. He's a judge on TV now.
You
You
know,
know,
and what the
and so sorry,
mm,
and he hosting Family Feud in Africa. So what you were talking about earlier about how the Africans are coming over here and supplanting themselves and kicking you out. Do you see how this shit is playing?
it's playing. It's playing. And these people that they're putting in position, they're all down with it because what are they doing? Capitalizing on it. They don't care that they're replacing you because why? They're getting their bag, they're getting their money. They don't care. They're winning. They got their stuff taken care of. It's good. It's all good. So he's a judge. So how infuriating is that? So I go to school, I work and work and work, and people are going to school and struggling to go to law school and get past the bar and all. He don't have to do none of that. He just needs to be a doggone clown, drop to his knees, take his pants down, whatever he has to do, and now he gets to be a judge on television. I
My-
find that highly insulting.
I can be a
What?
monkey if I want to. You don't tell me what to do. You ain't my mama.
And guess what? The monkey ass is winning. But is he really? I mean, we have the power to make or break these people. See, that's the thing. You're not gonna have no 90. If 90,000 people don't look at the shit, he ain't gonna have 90,000 people looking at it. If you don't listen to Steve Harvey, you turn off your radio. He ain't gonna have no audience. If you don't watch his television shows, his Family Feud and all that other shit, he ain't gonna have no shows. They took his shit away once, they'll take him away again. But we make these people. We're the king makers. We're the ones that actually make them popular, give them the power, give them the seat at the table that they don't care nothing about us for. They're not trying to protect our children. They're not trying to give anything to our communities. They're not building anything worth anything. That's right. Gain the world and lose your soul. Not only that, but they're, like I said, they're weaponized against us. Steve Harvey is weaponized against us. So many of our families are just like, I just love him. And they spend their whole day, just thinking about what stupid stuff he's saying, believing that stupid stuff, repeating that stupid stuff. And it's a travesty. Shaking my head, people don't comprehend. So why do they side on their phone piece to the chat? That's what they side on their something. I don't know what that is. Whose side are they on? Sorry, I got it. Yeah. So whose side are they on? Yeah, I mean, exactly. This is why we have all these invaders. There's no mask. Yeah. I mean, they were hoping that they would have this thing under control. More people would be dead. This whole pandemic would have panned out the way they planned it would, and more of us would be inoculated or dead, and we're not. So I hope that, and whatever they inoculated us with, I feel like it's not as effective as they wanted it to be because they're stupid, you know. So even though they gave a lot of us the jab didn't really work the way they planned it to work on us. So please stop giving them your DNA to sample us and figure us out. They're slow, but they ain't that slow. So if we keep giving them information, they are going to figure us out a little bit better. Let's not give them any more ammunition to work on us because they're stupid. They had a chance. They waited for almost 100 years to do this, over 100 years, and they failed. So, I mean,
I just wanna make a comment on
mhm,
what G Alpha just said, and I want everybody to look at this word and understand what it means. See, these people tell you what they doing to you all the time,
mhm,
and we act like we so smart, and we just don't understand the words that they are telling us. So this brother says they found a way to capitalize on your ignorance. Notice the word ignorance. The first part of the word always tell you what it is. We're just ignoring what's going on in front of us. My
right,
sister just told you about Bewitched, how they put that gay shit in the movies and stuff back in the 60s.
mhm,
Ignore. And that's our problem. We think we know shit we don't. We ignore it. We ignore what your great great grandfather was doing. What was he saying? What was he giving to the family? And we just ignore it.
right,
We just ignore it. It's not that we're dumb or stupid. Those are our actions. We just ignore common sense shit. We don't
mhm.
care. What do you think that's kind of close to the truth, Lee?
It's absolutely close to. That's exactly what it is. We do ignore it. We don't pay attention to it. We just choose to be ignorant. Because they always tell us what they're doing,
Always.
and we always consent to it. And
Always.
by not, by either not opposing it, mostly by not opposing it. No action is an action, right? No action is an action.
I had a chance to listen to a sister give an interview. She's one of those Hollywood type sisters, right? You don't
Mhm.
you don't see her anymore. You probably won't see her again. No, it's not that because you always notice, and Lisa, you and I both know,
Mhm.
black actresses in the 70s, 80s, 60s, probably, those sisters, you've never seen them no more. And yesterday I saw an interview with a sister who was one of those actresses, and she just told you what was up.
Mhm.
These Hollywood types, these produce all this stuff that's on trial now, like this child pedophile stuff that's going on. See, we ignore it.
Mhm.
And most of our women are the main ones who are being trafficked. We don't care. We ignore it. I didn't know. Nobody, it's right in your face. But the
Right.
people was talking, And she said that Harvey Weinstein called her to her room at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
And she was like, motherfucker, why am I coming to your room at 4 o'clock in the morning? Beautiful. This sister was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And she said this dude told her to come to his room, Harvey Weinstein. Now
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's a monster to me, so I don't know what he's like to a sister,
Gross.
you know. And she's like, why would I come to your room at 4 o'clock in the morning? If you want this job, ho, you better come.
Mm.
She just threw her career away right there,
Right.
you know. And so this is what I'm saying. We don't have our own arts department. We don't have our own movie making whatever. We don't have our own publishing companies. We damn sure need the people to work. We don't have our own financial institution, something that we create and come up with for ourselves. We don't even think about that shit. We just want to be with them. No,
But that's part of this whole thing of you have to know who you are. And that also comes with the fact that as you actually find out who you are, and also I'm going to go back to Sunshine and Freehawk because, Sunshine was, made a compelling statement about when she went to the Acamac summit, how she, Xena helped her with her genealogy, and she has since taken it to the next level and found out like all these Indian first names, last names in her family, indigenous names, and that they were doing things, owning things, and now she wants to kind of get a little bit more information about their specific town that they were from, and land that they should have. But this is the reality: is that we have to take these steps to really regain, first of all, our true history, learn about our true ancestors and the great things that they did or not so great. We have murderers and other things in our families. Everybody ain't gonna be great, but with that being the truth, we need to find out our history and then go ahead and organize ourselves so we can get out of the matrix. You're not going to get out of matrix with these social organizations. That's not going to give you, they can't represent you in court. They may act like they can make you tax free. I don't know if that's going to last at all. I don't think that's going to work. But I can tell you for a fact, because you really need to be organized as the indigenous people that are pre-colonial. That's where you have the right to be non-tax. So anybody who's like a social group who's trying to say they can do it for you by, changing your birth certificate and all this other bullshit, they're just bullshitting you. They're going to come for you guys.
so
It's
did you
not, it's, you're not, you may get away with it for a while, but not for long. And let me tell you, the other thing is you cannot defend yourself in a criminal case. You cannot say, well, I'm under, I'm not a part of this, I'm the property of the Accomack Indians. I'm not under your jurisdiction. You can't say that with these social groups. These social groups that are forming and trying to act like they can help you re with your identity change. They can't do that. You
because
have to get
porn
with your
is
own
fake.
families, your own real identity, and you have to organize yourself in that way. And then you can have true freedom from the system that you can apply to your children, your grandchildren, and can be a part of your legacy for centuries to come. But when you organize with that, yeah, then you can start, when you start realizing what they've done to your people, what they've taken from your people, then you can start, litigating and start trying to get resources back. So you can build schools and you can build companies and you can have your own hospitals and you can make these things are possible once we get a working foundation of people to build with. And those are there. They're in your families. And I know everybody says, well, my family don't get it. They don't get it. But see, when you start to organize, it ain't gonna be just your sister, your cousin who don't believe you, your other cousin who thinks you don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna find other people, other cousins, people that you didn't know, distant kin who are part of your kingdom, who are part of your nation that you don't know. Those are where you're going to find those people with the talent, the drive, and the information to do what you have to do. I have a sister who's I'm not. blood related to, but she's a kin. She's a kinman. We have common people we are connected to because she's an Accomack Indian. And she was out there in the rain by herself last weekend doing a Facebook Live with a picket sign at PNC Bank. She's the one who had the case, and that we got dropped. We got the case dropped on her daggone criminal case. She is down by law because you know what? A lot of y'all niggas wouldn't even have, excuse me, but you wouldn't. You wouldn't even been brave enough to let me show you that we have this right to to defend ourselves, to represent ourselves, and to win. She had the guts to let this happen. Because you have to have guts to do things that nobody ever did before, and nobody's ever did this shit.
Lisa, this Sister Soul Main Radio, you've answered the question before, but I just want to make sure she gets it because it'll probably help her. What's the best way to defend yourself against the law?
Well, you have to be your indigenous self. You know, as an African American, you're a part. You're something that they designed. They made you. As a black, you're made by the daggone U.S. government. So how are you going to defend yourself as a black person? You might be able to get yourself out of this or that, you know, maybe a traffic ticket violation just by saying the right things and saying the right, you know, using the right laws. However, the reality of being able to actually defend each other, like I can't, you could defend yourself by your own information, maybe on some minor stuff, right? But for you to have like other people that's within your family come in and say, look, she's part of us, she's not in your jurisdiction, the only way you're going to be able to do that is be the people that you actually are. If you don't actually change your identity and do the research, find out who your people are, and then change your identity to that, because she had already done her affidavit. She had already filed paperwork with the government and said, I am my identity was changed. You know, you lied about our history, and I'm an Accomack Indian. She
It's
had
that
that. She
simple.
had her affidavit done almost 2 years ago, so she had it done. So when I told her, "Do you have a copy of your affidavit?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Let's send it to the district attorney." See, she had already done that. So it's about you actually being true. It's not about making up something. It's about your true family history and repatriating your true identity. That's the only way we can save these generations to come. She rides around with our Accomack bumper stickers on her car, and don't nobody mess with her. And we'll, eventually get our license plates, for the Accomacks. You have to reconstruct your life because they took everything away from us. So you have to recreate your own rights. It's not easy, but it's also not easy watching your loved ones get locked up, get caught up in a system, get pushed around. It's also not good watching them have their jobs taken away because they won't get a jab because you don't have a declination, because you're not a people that have a declination form. You don't have an identity that can protect you either. How do you change that? You have to be it. It's not a mechanism, sister. It's not a mechanism. It's not like somebody goes and says, oh, here, sign this form, there, do that. You have to discover who you are. I don't know what you are, sister. So you might be an African. I don't know what you are, but I'm an indigenous person to America. And when I did my genealogy and research, I found out that I am by all four great grandparents an Accomack Indian. And then when I found out that whole area that my great grand, not my great, all my parents, both my parents, my great grandparents, my grandparents, everybody's from is Accomack Kingdom. And when I realized that that is true, they send papers to the U.S. That's some bullshit. You hear people do that, but that's bullshit. What I'm talking about is actually knowing who you really are based upon your family bloodline, not no bullshit, because they can come for you. on these papers that people are filing because they're using some kind of Moorish mechanism of trying to change your identity. They will come for you for that. But
You know,
they cannot come for you if you're in your truth and you're in your real identity based upon your genealogy, your bloodline, your people. They can't deny that. Real people, real land. We have multiple land grants that belong to us, that are connected to me, my relatives. I can reclaim that land. You can't do it because you're not me. You may have land that has oil wells on it. I don't know what your history is, but you have to figure out your own history. And when you find out who you are, whether you're from this country or not, I don't know. If you're not from this country, it's not an option. But if you're from this country, if you're indigenous here, then you have an option of finding out who you really are. And once you find out who you really are, you need to go ahead and be who you are. Change yourself. Let them know, hey, you lied. I'm really this. Don't call me no African American anymore. This is what I am. And I want to, and as only as people that are Indians that are pre-colonial, like you predate the United States. Native Americans don't have that because they're actually, most of them were constructed like in the 1800s. They didn't even meet those other Native Americans until 1806. So you really don't have the right to be non-tax. But people that predate the USA, you have the constitutional right to be not Indian, not taxed. All these other people that are telling you they're trying to give you forms that you can fill out to do this, they're going to go to jail or they're going to end up with problems. So, no, that's not going to work. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your real, actual identity and actually finding out who you are. And then if you happen to, it's not that you're doing it because you can do it. You're just getting back what's yours. It's not like a mechanism of like, I'm trying to get free of the system. Well, everybody don't deserve to be free of the system. If you're an immigrant, then you are part of the system. So you don't deserve to be free of the system. But if this is my country, I deserve to be free of the system. So it's not for everybody. It's for the indigenous people. You feel me? A lot of these people that are doing this more stuff, they're immigrants anyway. They're not from this country. So they're just trying to find a way to skirt the system. It's not going to last. It's not going to work.
so Darren Johnson says he needs to know how to do it.
How to do
Dude,
what? How
uh,
to do what? Be yourself.
dude, just do a genealogy. Find your
You
folks.
just got to find out who you are. You're a Johnson. You might be related to Anthony Johnson in Virginia. I don't know where you're from. I don't know your people, but you have to research who you are. If you're really a Johnson, you could also really be a Smith or a Thompson or I don't even know what else. Gaffingon. I don't know what your surnames are, but you have to know your ancestors. You have to go look and figure out who your ancestors are, where they're located, and go back. When you go back far enough, you're gonna realize that's where we were. That's our homeland.
See, one of the problems that I'm seeing, because my mother was one of those who was scared out of the South, and they went to the West Coast. They went to California, and in
Mm-hmm.
California, when you talk about the South in California, you will get laughed at. You will get mocked. Because they think of the South as something all, they crunchy and blah blah blah, but they're on the West Coast getting dogged by all.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of them people in California catching pure TL, right? It ain't easy
Right.
to live there.
Mhm.
I mean, it ain't easy to live there. And some of the people and there's a lot of, they got the indigenous people that are from Cali and they're like really catching hell up in the mountains and nobody even knows those Negroes are out up there because every time they show an Indian, they got some daggone Mexican or some daggone Asian, representing for the California Indians. But they got all these sisters and brothers up there that are the real deal, still living in the mountains.
If you ever get a chance, this is for the chat. If you ever get a chance to go to California, go up on the Oregon border to Mount Shasta. You're going to see people that look just like your grandmama, and these cats know magic for real. This ain't no bullshit. Find your folks, y'all. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, damn, your mama's mama. You can't do that. Your
Mm-hmm.
father's mother. You can't do that. It's simple.
Right. You have to. Yeah, it's we're not trying to, anybody who's trying to tell you that, you pay me this amount of money and I'm gonna, help you do your declaration or make you to change your, no, that's not cool. No, because really you have so much more that is available to you through your bloodline. You're gonna you need to get with your people. You need to get with your kin and get with your history. Go on to these sites, start and talk it. You got to first talk to your family. How you start there and talk to your, oh, you're from Texas. Oh, I love Texas Indians because they usually got oil wells and all kinds of shit they don't know that they got. um I was gonna talk to a brother. We was gonna talk to a brother tonight about that, because one of the brothers I talked to, he's from Texas, right? And he was, going back and forth over, I don't know my history, blah 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 blah. And I got on. He was like, "Look," I said, "You." He said, "Oh no, I've done my genealogy finally, Lisa. I'm already back to like the 1700s." I said, "You are?" He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, heck, okay." He's like, "Yeah, I got these people, and they live here." And I was contacting this tribe in Texas called, I forget what the name of the tribe was, something I never heard of before. But he contacted this tribe, this pale skin tribe, and they told him he need to find African American tribe. And I was like, you need to tell them there's no such thing as an African American Indian tribe. That's bullshit. And he was like, and I said, anyway, I said, well, why did you approach them anyway? He says, well, I was thinking they were close to where we're at or whatever, and they're organized. I said, boo, they're not gonna let you in their reindeer games. Plus, where are your people actually from? And then he told me the county, and I said, well, let's look it up. I said, have you looked it up? I said, here's the county. I said, wait a minute, who is it? I don't even remember the name. I think it was Chiron or something, Chickanog or some kind of Indians were in that county. When you look up the county and you look up the history of the county, they're going to tell you which Indians were there because they just love us to keep records about us Indians. So I was like, have you heard of these Indians? He said, well, I know that there's a park name, this name for a park. I said, just like the Acamax, we have a park. That used to be our reservation. I said, you got the same shit we got. He's like, yeah, and there's another museum named after that. I said, see, he's a whole bunch of us Negroes that live in that area. I said, see, that's your other people. That's your kin. There's your tribe right there. That's your nation. I said, you need to go ahead and at once, what, that's your name. I said, you need to organize yourself under that name. Get your dad going 5031C started today. I said, organize yourself as those Indians and use the words Indian and indigenous. Do not use aboriginal. And put together your baseline organization. That's gonna be your nation's organization. And then get yourself a Facebook page and start inviting people that are from the area that have the right surnames, because some of the names because you've done genealogy, so some of them, some of the surnames that are in that area. And I said, now you got to do a deep dig and get books that are about those Indians, those particular named Indians. Look for those books that contain information about your people. That's how you do it. And probably this brother going to end up having oil wells and mineral wells. He said there is mineral, there's mines there. He told me that. Coal, not coal, but something else. But anyway, yeah. I mean, you guys, you Texas Indians got like everything. So like, that's why they are so hard on y'all in Texas. That's why all the real mechanisms of oppression, they try them out on you Texans people first. So y'all need to really double down and get your history, your genealogy done, and get yourselves organized as a people you are. But it's a step-by-step thing. Find out. He had genealogy done on all four sides. He was very sure about his people there in Texas and who he belonged to. He was sure of the area, that he had already figured that out. What area, what town, what county, he knew. But then he didn't know when I told him that you need to he thought I was saying he need to find a clan or something. I said, no, no, no. You just need to find an Indian tribe from that county. What Indians were living there back in the day in the 1700s or whatever. So when we just talked on the phone briefly, we talked via, I think, Instagram or whatever. And I was able to help him, needle in and find the name of the people. And then it clicked to him. He's like, oh, there's a park with that name. It's an Indian park, or there's another thing, it's a museum. And I said, see, is there anybody else organized as those Indians? He said, no. Well, then that's you, boo. You got to organize as those Indians. Done. That's how it works. And then he'll be able to replicate everything the Acamax are doing, as far as, fighting for land, and then, trying to establish some things, getting some businesses started under our names, and, getting back to our skills of, raising turkeys or whatever your people did. And also, fight for damages and fight for land back and all that other stuff that is your right for people that took away everything that you are. Real stuff.
You guys see how this worked? You see what she said? You have to be pre-colonial. You can't be these groups that popped up in the USA after you have already been here.
Right.
All these groups, social groups, you want to call them, that's not you. These are new groups popping up, and then you join them and get screwed along the way. Like she said, pre-colonial. Pre-colonial.
Right. Right. Because those are government Indians. They made those Indians. They made them by recruiting people to come into the country and then saying, oh yeah, you can be Indian. They made laws that made the Asians Indians. Some of them came over in the Bering Straits and went down to went down to Mexico and came back up. But a lot of these people have a very high infusion of recent Asian blood because of the railroads and the gold mine rush and all that, and then the Japanese internment camps and all this other stuff. They're infused with all that other extra stuff, right? So that's why they look so Asian. But they immigrated these people to be the Indians. Dark hair, the straight hair. They made that whole look up after that. This is all Hollywood manipulation. See, you're the Indians. You just have to find out which one. And then you have to go ahead and take the steps to get yourself organized as those Indians, and then go ahead and take the steps and work to get your rights as Indians. Now it's not easy. I just this week I've been up for over 30 some hours just working on research for my lawsuit and getting my amendment done. But it's not easy, but it's worth it, and it's doable. So, I mean, it's something that you need to do, and you need to do it for yourself, and not only for yourself, because when you're long dead and gone, 200 years, 400 years, 500 years ahead in time, they're going to say, thank God our people got it together, because we got land, we got businesses, we got all these rights. We move differently in the world. Thank God somebody thought of that before they closed the door on that or destroyed all that information or whatever the heck they can do. But like, get with it.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. As always, it's simple. You make it simple. Remember, you can't be something after the United States was established. You can't be a what's that? What Malcolm X was in? You can't be an Arab. All these foreigners coming up with these groups after the United States was established. You're putting yourself in a hole. Moors didn't come until the United States was established. I mean, is this shit simple or what?
Right.
We don't get.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I was just gonna comment on ice cream. Yeah, actually, yeah, you a lot of colleges already have that available to people that are these recognized tribes, which is really not fair because they're just government Indians. But we, even as Accomack Indians, we're also out there approaching, universities like Hampton and our area that should be providing that for us Accomack Indians. So, yeah, you fight for that stuff too. Everything you have to create it. Nobody's gonna be like, here it is. You're gonna have to fight it. You're gonna have to build it. But all these things, all these privileges, all these benefits, you can create these benefits. It's all doable. I'm sorry, that's the one to get to that because she was saying that.
No, no, no.
Mhm.
No, no. I want to.
That's a real thing.
I want you to keep going. So, Lisa,
Mhm.
last words.
Oh, yeah. So basically, um, specific in Alaska, they said they owed them. Yeah, I don't know why they would give. I don't know why they're giving Pacific Islanders Alaska land. That doesn't sound like a good deal. But yeah, they're throwing out bones. This is the thing about it. When you do get things, when you do fight for things and people are giving you things back, you also have to be particular about what are you going to take and what is reasonable. If you're giving me land in Alaska and I live in a tropical region, I don't feel like that is a good exchange. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean? They don't want you to be on the beautiful coastline where it's tropical. They want you to be up in Alaska where you're never going to go, right? Where some homesteaders already living on your property, like, I mean, so we have to be careful about that. That's why when I looked years ago, when I started to organize the Acamax, I looked at every part of the Eastern Shore as far as what land is there and what land belongs to who. And I know what I would want and what I wouldn't want, because I don't want them giving me something that's not usable, something I don't want to be somewhere I don't want to be located. And it's not just for me. I'm talking about I speak for people. I don't speak for myself really. I speak for a nation, because what I do is really not for me. What I do is for centuries ahead of me, and it's for thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people. So it's not just for me. Everybody shares in what we do. Everybody shares in the land. Whatever I got that belongs to my grandfather, it belongs to everybody who's an Accomack. If we're gonna grow hemp, we're gonna grow hemp on my Accomack family land. So it's like we share, and that's that way we can build. We're gonna have to learn a new way of recognizing each other, respecting each other, caring for each other, and trusting for each other. That's part of this process. We have to unlearn all this mess that we've been poisoned and taught. We have to unlearn that, because it's a higher level of caring, a higher level of trust than we're accustomed to when you're trying to build on something like this. And so that's all I have to say, you guys. I mean, don't let anybody control your thinking. Let's go back to Carter G. Woodson. Don't let anyone control your thinking. Watch the information that you're listening to. Watch the information that your family and friends are listening to. Don't let them fall into these traps that are out there that got them thinking that, two women that got murdered by a man are at fault for daggone triggering him. Don't let them listen to Steve Harvey. Oh, don't let them live in a world where Steve Harvey can gonna be made a judge overnight, and you got what's his name? Strayhorn. You
Michael
got that
Strahan.
Strayhorn. Yeah. He's going to outer space. How do you train with physics, calculus, all this stuff, you know, for years, make a career out of being an astronaut, and then this daggone goofy, big-headed man leapfrogs you out of your daggone life's work? That doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. But that's just what happens. So anyway, what about Vietnam over? What you say about Vietnam?
Vietnam,
Yeah, I mean the thing. Yeah, exactly.
the ice cream cake. This is what happens to the brothers that go to war. And this has been happening for a long time. See, we go to these wars and fight these people and kill these people off before we get back from where we were. Those people are over here in your communities opening up all kind of shit, and you're supporting them. This is why I mean we cannot be dumb. See, you know why most of these brothers are out here on the street, these veterans on the street, because they're realizing they done went over to these countries and helped fuck these people up. And now they're thinking, well, what if these people come over here and do this to my mother? You see? And they spin it to you like, oh, we went over to fight and now we can't get nothing. We come back here and we still get called nigga. Dude, you haven't learned yet. And
Right.
this is what's going on to us. So, there's a lot of people that'll pat you on the head and tell that my little poor little baby. I'm not your dude, man. We are making asses of ourselves, but we keep doing it. And we keep saying, oh, we just poor. We're poor because we give our money to other nations that come over here and set up in our community because we won't do it our damn self.
Right.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So pay attention to what's going on. Listen to what this sister said. Go find out where your people are. Check the counties where your mamas and grandmothers and grandfathers are from. They right there. Just wait for you to come ask.
Right. And people think you think that we're mixed with a whole lot of different people, but really, these people weren't even let in our country until the 1970s. There wasn't no. I didn't go to school with no Africans. Did you, Carrie?
No.
Okay, so these Africans just came in after 1970, 1980. These people ain't even been in our country. We have not been intermixing with these other nationalities, except for us, returnees, Black Europeans. Those are the people that are part of us. Those are, and we see them because they act like Steve Harvey. They act like Strahan. Strahan is a European aristocracy. He is of the bloodline. That's why he gets to do shit that you don't understand with his big ass head. He's part of the lineage. He's of the royal lineage. So you have to understand these people have been among us. They are still among us. But if you're indigenous, most of us who are actually indigenous, we actually mostly stayed amongst ourselves. We occasionally intermarried with these outsiders, but we mostly stayed amongst ourselves. So
And
you're going to find that out when you get down into the history. You're going to see.
and
And you may have some Europeans that are foreign, but you'll find mostly that we are pretty much the same people.
and
I
ice
got
cream
that's it.
cake.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream cake. Indians have a federal agency. Why don't we? Why don't we? Because we don't do what she just said.
Yeah, you can't have a federal agency if you how many people have repatriated their people. I mean, I'm raising my hand. Anybody else? See what I'm saying? You can't have a federal agency if you haven't even gotten yourself to figure out what Indian you are.
Right.
You have to get to the point where people are actually doing what they need to do to be the people that they are and get out of the matrix. You can't just go jump and just start a federal agency. I went and tried to get a group to organize people that were just indigenous people that were kind of organizing their people. When I went to do a Zoom and I had like about 12 people and I found out most of them were fraudulent. You can't build when people aren't really doing real things. You have to have real people that are doing real things. You can't build with people that are doing fake things and saying, "Oh, I feel like I'm an ancient Indian." What the fuck is that? Excuse me, but an ancient Indian, really? You can't make this kind of assumption. You what? That's not real. I can't claim my Indian status saying I'm an ancient Indian because I feel it. You got people like that. I can't build with people like that. That's not real.
Connect yourself to your
You
people.
can't start an American Indian coalition when people aren't really doing real stuff. They really aren't. And I'm telling you, like I said, I've tried to I've done a summit this is going on my 4th year of doing an American Indigenous Summit in Virginia. I mean, you have to have real people doing this. You can start an American coalition. You start a coalition of who? A lot of these people are internet frauds. They just want to be famous. They're just trying to get followings. They're just trying to make money. You have to have people that are really doing real things. What the hell are they doing? When you ask them, Ask them what they're doing. Ask them what's their genealogy, what's the name of their nation, and what have they've done to organize their families. And then you'll know whether or not they're real. What are their what tribe, what nation is their family organized under? Do they have an ID card? Do they have a constitution? Ask them that kind of. Do they have affidavits in their family, in their nation? Ask those questions.
Well, cool, Lisa. We're going to close it out.
Okay. Good night, you guys. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, chat.
Your families, your grandmothers, your grandfathers on both sides. Just go back just go back and find out who their mothers and fathers were, By then, you should have a idea of where you're going and who you are. It doesn't take much, y'all. It's right there at your fingertip.
Right. In Copper Colored Life, yes, you're right. Most of these Europeans, these white Europeans, did not come in until like the 1900s. These people act like they've been here forever, but they ain't got no genealogy. And a lot of them that were here for a while, they were slaves. They don't want to talk about that. That's why, even though they do mention the Civil War, they really don't be like big upping it. Like, yeah, I've been here since the Civil War. You don't hear a lot of white folks talk like that because they ain't got that history. It was us. Anyway, peace, y'all.
Ice cream cake, indigenous64@gmail.com. So we want to thank all you guys for joining us tonight. We try to make this simple, y'all. It's not hard.
Oh yeah, and you can contact me at acamac.org. I get an alert that goes to my phone. So acamac.org, you can reach me at.
Spell that, Lisa.
Oh, ACC. Well, it's right on my name. Is it on my name? ACCW.
Uh-huh.
ACCAWMACKE. Acamac.org.
.org.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys check it out. Check her out. Check me out. Listen, we're just gonna give you it's simple. Everybody else tries to confuse you. All you hear of these Moors and Muslims and all these different groups. Remember, they came after the USA was established. That's not what you want to do. Your people were here before the US. Remember that. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.